this is Larry the Barber Man. I'm here with Sam Donnely at his traditional barber shop, Sam's Barbers in Dublin. I'm downstairs in what I can only describe as his Barberman cave. This is just the second part of his barber shop. Downstairs, upstairs, being a successful barber shop, there's a lot going on. So what can I say about Sam? Sam is a successful multiple barbershop owner, the owner and the founder of Pomp Co hair products. He's also an ambassador for Movember. He's also the founder of an up-and-coming event stroke festival educational conference called Barber Cut. And I'm just going to be interviewing Sammy to find out where he started and where he's going with all his barbering endeavours. So Sam, you're a hugely successful barber. Tell me exactly where you started in barbering from the beginning.
Hey, I'm a fourth generation barber. I'm 28 years in the business myself. My great grandfather originally started in Northern Ireland as a barber cutting hair, and then he put his two sons, my grandfather and my great uncle, into barbershops serving their time. Then I went to my father, and then myself, my brother, co-owner of Sam's Barbers is James Donnely, and myself, Sam. So I'm 28 years in total in the business.
Excellent. And tell me a little bit about the ethos of Sammy's Barber. How do you set Sam's Barbers?
My grandfather was Sammy Donnelly and I'm Sam Donnelly.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind me calling you Sammy.
No,
I know you like your brand is Sam, so we'll stick with the Sam.
So our ethos at Sam's Barbers is basically like, it's classic cuts and close shaves. We invite all our customers to come in and just experience what we love doing. And all the barbers at Sam's Barbers, as I always try to say to my crew that are working with me, Sam's is the establishment and Barbers is the people that work at it. And what we try to do is give people the experience that we experience every day. And that is people being as professional as possible at what they're doing. And that's what we do. So when people come down to Sam's, we try to offer them a really, really professional, real experience that a barbershop has to offer.
Okay, so the real experience, would you say that's what's different about you from other barbers in the Dublin one area?
Yeah, pretty much, because like when people come into us, when I say the real experience, it's not all about the haircut or it's not all about the chat, it's the whole experience. It's from when that gent walks in the door until he walks out, and then just feeling as if they've had a good experience, and educating your customers about their haircut, their particular styles, their products, and educating. We try to educate our own barbers, and then our barbers educate us as well, because at Sam's we've got, I think at the moment we've 27 barbers, and I can put my hand on my heart and say I've got 27 excellent barbers working with me, and having that wealth of information of 27 barbers together makes us what we are, because we're always learning off each other. And even I say to apprentices when they come in, listen, you will bring something to us that we'll learn from you, and we always have. I've yet not to learn something from anyone that's worked with us that I've had the pleasure of working with.
Okay, well, I want to learn something from you, Sam, because I've had the likes of Johnny Barber and other eminent barbers saying that your shave is one of the best shaves ever. So I'm keen to learn your process, as I'm sure a lot of other barbers would, because we had a conversation about this earlier. Lots of barbers don't offer the service because they're kind of frightened, so maybe you can shed some light on what makes your shaving experience that great that the likes of Johnny Barber would sing your praise from the hilltop, which is a rare and honour.
Yeah, to get a compliment from Johnny, he'll take it back. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. What makes my shaving experience good is, one, it's what I love doing. And when you have a passion for something, like that's where I feel myself most comfortable, is doing a hot shave. I just love the whole theatre of a shave. When somebody comes in and they get the hot towels, the hot cream and the straight razor, and just the whole theatre that involves around the experience of a shave, I think that's what makes my shaves special, I suppose, is because it's something I love doing. And I find with a lot of barbers, if I ask them, I've said it before many times and to yourself earlier, like if you say to a barber, do you shave? And a lot of them say, I don't like shaving. They don't like shaving because they don't know how to do it. Because if they knew how to do it, it's actually quite therapeutic for the barber to do. So I suppose my shaves, it's because I love what I do and I'm in my zone when I'm shaving. I just love it, and if I find it therapeutic, the client can only but not find it therapeutic, basically.
Can you just walk me through it? What the stages?
The stages of my hot shave. First things first, I get the client into the chair. I have a brief consultation with the client about their face. How often do they shave themselves? What way do they like to shave? It just gives me a little bit of idea on what to expect, or for what them to expect from my shave. I'll run them briefly through exactly what I'm going to do. I start off with a hot towel. I put a dry towel over the hot towel to keep the steam in, to keep the moisture and heat to keep the towel as moist and as hot as possible. I put the dry towel over it. Then I take the two towels off, and I like to roll my towel back to cover my client's eyes. Some people hate that, some people love it. The reason why I like to keep the towel over the client's eyes is just to let them be in the zone. Let them totally zone out. And like, I've shaved in shop windows for Movember and for Louis Copeland's and people like that. And when people get a shave and they get up out of the chair and they say, you'd never know I was sitting in a shop window with hundreds of people looking at me. And I don't see the people either because I'm in the zone anyway. So we take off the hot towel, and then I lather the face up with a hot lather, and then I like to put another hot towel over that lather just to really soften up them bristles. Take off that hot towel, lather the face up again, give it one straight razor shave. Then I put another hot towel on, more off with that towel, more hot lather, a second straight razor shave, and then another hot towel on, and then I take it off and I put a hot shaving oil onto the face. And then what I use the hot shaving oil for is to just to finish off the shave. And then what I do then is I lather the face up again after the oil shave with a hot shaving brush, and then I put a hot towel over that, because what I like to do is get the oil out of the skin, because I don't want to leave oil under them open pores, because what happens there is you get irritation or maybe zits at a later stage. Then when I'm finished with that hot towel, I take it off, another hot towel, I take that hot towel off, and then a good friend of mine, Donnely Howley of the world famous Howleywood's Barbershop, introduced me to witch hazel. It's a North American plant. It's a natural antiseptic, a natural anti-blemish, and a natural anti-inflammatory. So I spray some cold witch hazel on the face, put a cold towel on. I lightly tap a towel on the face while the cold towel is on the skin, because what I find that does is it actually gets the blood flowing in the face again, so they're not just all red when they sit up out of the chair. It just gets that blood flowing going around the face. Then I take off the cold towel, I spray down a little bit more witch hazel, and then a little bit of non-scented moisturiser, just to give a little bit of moisture to the skin. I very rarely shave against the grain. As my motto to most of my clients who are getting a shave is that I'd rather you have, to go against the grain, you're going to have 4 hours of extra closeness for 24 hours of discomfort. So what I like to do is just give them a good 2 lathered and 1 oiled shave with the grain, maybe slightly against the grain with the hot oil. And what I find, that just gives a perfect fresh shave, no blood, no irritation. They can get up and they can put a white shirt on and go straight to the bar.
Okay, I like that. I've kind of felt that. And the witch hazel, to Donny's credit, is good. I started using it 4 days ago, and it's made a huge difference on those zits that you spoke about.
It's just it's the barber's best kept secret. And then also, just a quick one on the shaves. I actually get on my a quick one with the shaves, and I always get all my lady barbers to experience the hot shave. Obviously without the blades. We get our lady barbers to come in the morning time, maybe before they put their makeup on, and we actually go through the whole process with them, and we use just an empty cartridge blade, and we actually give them the whole process of the blade. So when my lady barbers are shaving later, they know exactly what the client has experienced, bar the shave.
Okay. And talking about, just whilst we're on that educational thing, how do you keep 27 members of staff for 5 shops all on the same page? Because I know that you're kind of got a fear of going past the 6th shop because you feel that that will cause your may cause your standards to slide. So how do you keep the 27 in check?
Okay, well, out of our 5 shops and our 27 barbers, we've got Sam's Local and Sam's Central. Sam's Local is in the suburbs and Sam's Central is in the city centre. So we offer slightly different services in the different shops. Like Sam's Locals is a local barber shop. You get, like, you know what I mean, a mum coming down, a mum and dad coming down with their kids. You get a lot of OAPs, and that's a local barbering service, the best of its type out there, and that's where the solid foundation is learned. When you get out and you're working, we class that as working in the trenches, and all our barbers start off working out in the trenches in Sam's Local, and that gives you a grounding. And then when you move into Sam's Central, if some of my master barbers have no interest whatsoever in working in a Sam's Central, when you get into a Sam's Central, once you have that grounding and that appreciation for the barbering trade and that hunger then to learn, we bounce it off each other. You're consistently, when people first start working at Sam's, we move them around to different shops to work with different barbers, and that's not just for convenience of me running 5 shops and having 27 barbers. We always do this by choice with our barbers, so they can experience different styles of barbershops and different styles of barbers, and I think that keeps people fresh, working with different barbers. And that's what I get down to with barbering courses, for example. A barbering course is there for barbers that may be working in a shop on their own, and you know, they're not working with other barbers. We're just fortunate enough that there's so many of us to learn off each other.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And talking about learning on the shop floor, you kind of learned on the shop floor that you needed to develop your own pomade to suit your style of barbering. Tell me how you came about to make the Pomp Co range of wet products.
Well, myself and my brother James, the co-owner of Sam's Barbers and Pomp Co, the two of us, our grandfather and his brother, like during the war, World War II and all, it wasn't unusual for barbers or many people to make their own shaving oils or creams or tonics or potions. And our grandfather and his brother had always done that. They'd made hair creams, they'd made pomades, they'd made tonics, and a shaving oil. My grandfather taught me how to make a shaving oil, and we had some sense and some slight ingredients that he used to use. So when we were working as barbers on our shop floors, there's some fantastic products out there, and we pride ourselves on having Ireland's largest range of different pomades from all over the world. But we felt that it was something that we wanted to do. We really, really genuinely felt that, you know, we could make a product that we had a history in, and we had sense that we wanted to work with. We had an idea of what we wanted to do around the Pomp Co range. So it wasn't a case that, like, oh, let's make a product range and flog it to our customers. We made a product range because we wanted to make it. We genuinely felt that we were ready at that particular time to do it. We thought about it many a times, and 4 years ago when we decided to really start working on it, it was really a want then. It was an urge that we had, that we wanted to do it. Does the world need another gents product range? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Does it need Pomp Co? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But myself and James, we needed Pomp Co because it's just something that we felt passionate about, and that's where it's come from, Pomp Co. And I think that's what's unique about Pomp Co. We didn't do it for the money. We didn't do it like, you know, to put a feather in Sam's Barbers hat. To be quite honest, we keep Sam's Barbers and Pomp Co completely separate. We actually don't even like telling people that we're associated with. That's just ruined now. But it doesn't matter because we're just so passionate about it.
Okay. And so that was completely bespoke to how you wanted it, from the scent to the texture, every part of it.
We used Richie Stewart from Boston. He's a fantastic, famous, world famous and renowned font designer. He done the Sam's Barbers logo, he done the Pomp Co logo. We screen print our brand, Pomp Co, onto our jars. Everything. If we were to sit James beside me here now and talk about Pomp Co, like, you'd really get it. Just the way I explained to you about the hot shave. If I was to sit James beside me here now and you were to talk about from start to finish on Pomp Co, you'd want it.
Okay.
You say, I have no hair, but I want it. basically.
That's how I felt. I've shaved this morning. I listened to your shave and I wanted another shave.
There you go. We'll get you. Don't worry.
Okay, so we've spoken about inside the shop. Outside the shop, you're an ambassador for Movember. Tell me a little bit about being an ambassador for Movember and what does it mean to you?
The Movember Foundation and me just happened, basically. I was actually shaving in the window of the world famous Louis Copeland's tailors. They're Ireland's most bespoke tailors, and I was up there working with them one day, shaving in their window, doing a promotion, and the country manager, Neil Rooney of Movember, walked by and he just kind of looked, goes, "There's a guy shaving in the window," and he was like, I gotta meet that guy. I gotta meet him and talk to him. So he gave me a call. He realised who I was. We had a chat and he said, "Look, I'm the Movember Foundation," and he goes, "We'd love to do something with you as a barber." And I said something to Neil many years ago, says, "Push me, try how far we can go." And I've shaved the length and the breadth of the country. I've shaved all over the country, and I end up on different times being a global ambassador for the Movember Foundation. And it's something I'm very passionate about because I, personally speaking, I lost my own sister to cancer, and I just felt that, and many of friends I've lost to suicide, and I just felt that, like, you know what I mean, this is something that my trade can actually have an impact on, and I felt very passionate behind it. So that's the connection with me and Movember, and with the Movember Foundation. I just think it's a fantastic foundation for me to be involved with, and it's made a big difference in my life, that's for sure.
Okay, excellent. And that's been part of someone else's organisation. You're about to embark upon the first ever educational conference stroke barbering festival here in Dublin.
That's a mouthful, yeah.
Tell me how that came about and how you feel this will benefit the barbering community.
Right, okay, Barber Cut Dublin. It's been, as I said before, and many a times before, the barbering community has always been a local community. Social media made the barbering community a global community. And what happened there was stars were born. People who really are passionate about what they've done behind a chair were showcasing that behind their cameras. And they gained followers. And then these guys have started to go to expos around the world showcasing their skill. And then me being the Movember barber, and I've worked at all the major events, the Web Summit, the Electric Picnic, all the different events, the length and the breadth of Ireland. And I've seen people from all over the world come to my country for events. And it's a perfect place for an event, Dublin. It's geographically perfect. There's 100 million different reasons why Dublin is a great place to have an event. And just from seeing people working with Movember, coming to different events from all over the country, and then myself as an Irish barber, leaving the country to go to different expos around the world, I said, well, why don't we have our own expedition here in Ireland? Why don't we showcase, give the barbering community an opportunity to showcase their skill in a different way? So what we wanted to do is we wanted to do something slightly different as opposed to all the other expos out there, and it was more about hair and more about barbering. So what I wanted to do, and Kieran, my co-founder with Barber Cut Dublin, is that we wanted to give people an opportunity to actually go and see the people that they've been following on social media on stage, cutting, really, like, you know, doing what they do usually on their cameras, and then give people that opportunity to talk to them before and afterwards. And I don't think there's any expos like that out there that actually give that opportunity to see them people genuinely cutting and to meet them. And then also, because it's in Ireland, like, you know, I mean, obviously there's a bit of crack involved, so we have some fantastic live, we've DJs playing out through the day. We've got we've a fantastic band playing that night, the Hot Sprockets. They're just amazing, and we just wanted to give it that kind of festival atmosphere. It is an educational day because we find that people are going to be very, very well educated on the skill of barbering by the end of the day.
Okay, excellent. And in closing, what is it that you are personally loving about barbering right now, and what do you dislike and what would you like to see changed?
What I love about barbering at the moment is that your clients today are so you know, open, where anything goes now. So like, you know what I mean, we can be, as barbers, we can be creative as much as we possibly can, because there's no boundaries in barbering anymore. Anything can walk into the door and sit in your chair, and you can do anything to anyone's hair, and it's okay to do that. And that's what I love about barbering currently today. What I dislike about barbering today is that, like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, it's cool to be a barber at the moment, and like everyone wants to be a barber. So you get all these people, like, you know, picking up a scissors, doing a course, calling themselves a barber. I'm passionate about 4 generations of my family and all the crew that work with me, and colleagues of mine in the business that have served their time and have worked hard to get to where they are now, and they're proud of that they put their time in. And I just dislike that, because it's something that's cool at the moment. Everyone wants to get onto that bandwagon. The more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned, to people who want to get into barbering, providing they do it the right way. Where would I like to see barbering go in the future? I'd like to see it kind of balance off to an extent where it's not as cool, and then it gets a lot more real, because sometimes at the moment barbering's getting a bit too big-headed slightly at the moment. So I'm looking forward to the slight deflation in barbering, so we can get down to business and do what we're supposed to do, and that's interact with our clients and just, you know, do what we do, basically.
Okay, and very, very last question. What is next for Sam's Barbers?
What is next for Sam's
Is there room
Barbers?
for anything else?
Well, between Pomp Co, Sam's Barbers, the Movember Foundation, and Barber Cut Dublin, I'm just, what's next for Sam's Barbers is when Barber Cut Dublin is done in October 2nd, and the Movember campaign is finished, what's next for Sam's Barbers is me going back on the floor, cutting the hair of my clients, and making sure that we're 110% with customer service.
Okay. Sam Donnely, thank you very much for having me in your shop, both upstairs with Andrew does here and downstairs with you for a one-to-one. Very informative interview, and I thank you very much for that.
Listen, thank you for your time, because you know, it means a lot. Thank you.
You're very welcome.